Hey, this is David Howard Thornton. You might know me as Art the Clown from the movie Terrifier, and you're listening to Nerd Radio.
Find us on social media at Nerd Radio 101. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. And we're on the interwebs. We're on YouTube. We're on the interwebs at Nerd Radio 101. My name's Chuck Bean, joined by two men who will talk over each other, but it'll be way more entertaining than the other people you heard talk over each other this week.
What? Who's not talking over what? How dare you?
Talking about James and
I don't know if more entertaining is accurate.
We're going to be way more entertaining.
We're going to accomplish more.
Maybe less aggravating. Less aggravating.
They set the bar so low that we are going to be way more entertaining than the other men talking over each other that you've probably experienced earlier this week. So let's talk about some streaming services because, well, first of all, CW Supergirl ending with season 6. They're pulling the plug on it.
You lasted that long?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think CBS had the right idea where they're like, one season's enough.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going away. Obviously, part of the HBO Max is all the different DC shows that they're putting together. They're talking about doing the Justice League movie. They're redoing that and bringing everybody back for that, which is kind of neat. But
was that going to be the Snyder Cut version?
Yeah.
Of the Justice League? Okay.
Yep. And they're also, I just saw yesterday, Robbie from Checkpoint had tweeted that.
Are you waiting?
I'm waiting for it.
Oh, okay. So, Robbie, go ahead. Start that statement again.
So I just saw yesterday that Robbie from Checkpoint XP.
Oh, no!
Thank you, Al.
Even when you give him a second chance to do it, there's like a huge delay.
That's the computer.
He posted that they're talking about J.J. Abrams is going to do Justice League Dark over there, and they're going to do a Zatanna, and they're bringing back Constantine for series over there.
Interesting.
On HBO Max. So
I feel like anything J.J. Abrams gets his hands in that's within like the comic book spectrum or like any kind of a nerddom, he's going to do it justice. Like I would trust him.
Yeah, I feel like he's obviously a fan.
Yeah,
and
I would let him be the babysitter to my baby Yoda.
J.J. Abrams always delivers a fun ride. He doesn't always stick the landing like Lost.
Okay.
Oh, see, I didn't.
Right.
I was
Lost was one of his things.
Oh,
yeah. I thought, and the thing I've always said about it is like when you get to the end of a J.J. Abrams thing, like he's so good. I've said this on the show before. He's so good at creating the question that when he answers it, you're like, oh, that's it. Right. But the answer is perfectly reasonable. It's just not as good as the question was. I thought the same way about Super 8. Super 8 thought was a really fun movie. And it was a lot of like, what the hell's going on? And then they're like, it was this. And you're like, I guess that makes sense.
Can you spoil it? And I forgot because I know I've seen
I don't
Super
remember.
8,
Honestly, the biggest thing I walked away from is that feeling that I remember. But it's the same thing about Lost. Like, I mean, the most disappointing thing about Lost is that everyone figured it out, and this is the problem with the age of the internet. They're like, it's this, right? And they're like, what are they supposed to say? Yep, you figured it out 2 years before we were going to reveal it. So they denied it, and people got pissed at the end, like, well, we guessed it already. Like, what'd you want us to do? Like, I don't know. I didn't hate the end of Lost like a lot of people do, but it wasn't as good as, like, what the hell is that noise? What is this smoke monster? And
right.
Then, So that's the thing with J.J. Abrams is
well, and like Damien Lindelof worked on Lost with him, and he did the Watchmen series, and he's another one that like whether you think it's cool or not that they did a Watchmen TV series on HBO,
Alan Moore does not.
He does not.
I don't think he likes anything.
No, unless he did it.
But even he was like, if I didn't pick it up, somebody else was going to do it, and I'm a huge fan, so I was hoping that I could at least do the book in the series that I love, Justice, by adding to it.
I love that mentality, though. Like, someone's going to ruin it. It might as well be me in my way.
Exactly.
I'll ruin it in a less undesirable way.
It would be funny if he was his own biggest internet troll. Like if he on another account was giving himself crap on Twitter because he's pissed off about Watchmen.
That was something I thought of, too, because you brought up the fact that, like, with J.J. Abrams, he did Star Wars and he did Lost and some of the Star Trek movies. Like, you get the impression he is a big fan.
Yes,
like, he's doing this because he's a huge fan and because you don't pass this opportunity up, not because he's trying to, cash a paycheck and make a bad movie or something like that. And after watching, I think by the time I got to the third Transformers movie, I wrapped my brain around the fact that, you know what, I bet... what's his name?
Michael Bay.
Thank you. I bet Michael Bay was a huge Transformers kid.
I can see that.
Absolutely love Transformers, and he's trying to tell the Transformers story he wants. He would have wanted as a kid. It's just not the one I wanted.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I still got to see a Camaro turn into Bumblebee, so it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And you got to see John Cena have a change of heart.
I did. Speaking of streaming on the HBO Max, you saw that John Cena.
Yeah, they're making the Peacemaker into a little HBO series. I'm down. Anytime I can see John Cena
on a weekly
basis,
yeah,
I'm in. I'm in, even if it's garbage. I'm in.
Speaking of TV shows, too, The Walking Dead, a show that I think all of us are pretty much checked out on at this point. They're supposed to be only doing one more season, but they're going to continue with the Fear the Walking Dead. And there's talk that they're going to do a Carol and Daryl spinoff.
Well, they're probably the only ones left from the original, the original cast, right?
Right. Which I find that amusing because me and Al have talked about The Walking Dead. You can go back in the archives and hear me and Al talk about The Walking Dead on Nerd Radio.
Yeah.
But I always say that, like, the minute Norman Reedus doesn't want to be on The Walking Dead, just wrap it up, man. Close it down.
Yeah.
Because that's why people are showing up.
That's why people are showing up. And again, one of the characters that was not in the comic.
Yeah. Did you see? We'll talk about some comics later, but did you see that the Comic Shop News this week has on the front of it the Walking Dead Weekly? It's starting next month.
I did see that, and I saw it on the comic news. Maybe you can fill me in later because I saw it this morning, and I was like, what is this? And I went to open it up, and I was like, I don't have time for that. I got to set up the morning show. So I got no details on it. So maybe you can fill me in when we talk
I'll
comics.
be happy to because I'm a comic pusher. That is my drug of choice.
True. It is true.
While we're talking about comics, too, The Boys just continues to get better and better every week. I can't wait for you guys to check it out.
I'm in episode 4.
Episode 4? Okay. Yep. But they've announced...
I made progress. I thought about starting it over the weekend.
Hey!
Baby steps.
Yeah, I thought about it. Yeah,
they've announced that they're going to get a spinoff. I believe they're going to start filming it next year. It's going to be a college-themed R-rated spinoff of The Boys. So, Al, you may remember, but probably not, from the comic books, there was a Teen Titans, if you will, in that universe.
Yeah.
That was like the heroes that haven't quite made it to the big time yet.
So these are going to be different heroes than like Homelander and Starlight and all them. It's different group.
These are going to be the teenagers that
it's
really
like the Farm League.
They want to be in the 7. They're working their way up to the 7. In the comics, they were called Teenage Kicks.
Yeah, that's where what's her name started with the Annie character, right?
Yeah, Starlight.
Yeah, Starlight.
She was in the comics. There were multiple. I think there were 3 or 4 multiple ones, and she was in one of them. Oh, and that's where they recruit her from.
I got you.
So yeah, that's going to be a thing, which means more The Boys. I'm cool with that.
So that's how they recruit the blowjob givers.
Yes.
Oh my God, I cannot wait till you get to next week's episode. I said that last week, but because there was something.
I know I was trying to get to episode 5, but I just didn't have the time.
And then episode 6 is even like there's
even
something
darker.
There's something in there that's even funnier. There's a character
like Garth Ennis type stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but there is a character from the comics that I was not sure would make it to the show, and it's not the same type of character, but it's him.
Okay.
It's absolutely him, and he's got the defining characteristic that he had in the comics. So
somebody who's got like a horse wiener.
So weren't either of you guys big spaghetti western fans?
No, I'm a fan of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Spaghetti westerns, not so much.
You know, I love a western, but not necessarily the spaghetti westerns.
I fell into the spaghetti westerns in my 20s. Like I wasn't really a westerns guy, and then I saw the Clint Eastwood Fistful of Dollars and Few Dollars More and stuff like that, and was just kind of blown away because I just never experienced something like that. But they didn't say where it's going to land, but somebody has optioned a Fistful of Dollars for a TV series adaptation.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to do it as a long form series instead of just the movie that.
Do you know what network is behind it?
They have
or
nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Deadline says the project is being spearheaded by the Mark Gordon Company, which acquired the rights to the film, and Game of Thrones' Brian Cogman is on board to write the series. But that is all they have.
Which doesn't say much of anything.
No, I'm going to be really interested to watch it because it's the kind of thing that the way the plot works is that Clint Eastwood rolls into town and there's 2 warring gangs. So he immediately beats the crap out of one gang's toughest dude and then goes across the street and joins the other gang. And then that night goes across the street while everyone's sleeping and joins he pits the 2 gangs against each other in a war that will eventually kill both of them so that the town can be free of them.
It seems it kind of reminds me a little bit of the new Vegas plot line.
That's what
the different factions.
That's where I'm headed, is that it's the kind of plot that I've seen a bunch of times since I've seen that movie. And I cannot wait for the series to come out for a whole bunch of people who've never seen the movie to be like, oh, this is just like New Vegas.
Okay.
Oh, this is just like Red Dead Redemption.
Gotcha. Lots of similarities there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, this sounds like a video game. I didn't play New Vegas, but this sounds exactly like what my roommate was talking about when he was playing.
Yeah. So I mentioned before the break that I finished The Midnight Gospel on Netflix. It's an 8-episode animated series. It's done by Pendleton Ward, who worked on it Adventure Time, and it is super trippy.
Yeah,
super trippy. It's kind of like an Adult Swim style show, but it's difficult to explain because the way most of the episodes work, the audio is taken from a podcast that a comedian called Duncan Trussell has been doing for years. So they'll be talking about something like in the very first episode, he's talking to Dr. Drew Pinsky, and they're talking about how there are no good or bad drugs. There are just how people are affected when they're on drugs. You know, talking about like marijuana legalization and that kind of thing. And while they're talking about that, the main character is on a planet that's under a zombie apocalypse, and he's walking around with the president, who is 2 feet tall and has an amazing mustache.
Nice.
While they survive this zombie apocalypse. So like the storytelling that's happening visually has nothing to do with the storytelling that's happening in an auditory fashion.
Okay.
And by the third episode, I was like, this is stressful. Trying to keep up with what is happening.
This does not sound good to me at all.
Like it's gonna be very confusing.
It is. It's kind of confusing, but once again, Pendleton Ward worked on Adventure Time, so the visuals are extremely trippy. It's absolutely the kind of thing that I could, not being somebody who doesn't do a lot of drugs, I can see doing some drugs and then watching this and just wow.
Enjoying or be confused? Because I feel like I'd be so confused to be like, wow.
This is
some really good weed.
Well, maybe you could try it and report back to us, James.
I feel like, man, I smoked a doobie and I don't know what. Yeah. There's like Dr. Drew was there, so I thought I had an STD.
I feel like you would probably focus on the visuals. Yeah. I feel like if I was high, I probably would have focused on the visuals.
There's a mustachioed little person. I think he's president of the Planet Zombie.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to pick up the pieces of.
Well, yeah, and it's the kind of thing. There's 8 episodes, and I really don't want to. I don't want to spoil any of them because there is, almost like Steven Universe, there is a plot that goes through all the episodes. But each episode kind of stands on its own, and they're all so drastically weird. Like I said, the first episode is a zombie apocalypse. There's an episode later on that is like Groundhog's Day in a space prison.
Oh, okay.
And then the one of the reasons I'd watched it is I'd heard plenty of people on my social media saying that the 8th episode absolutely like leaves everybody in a crying mess.
Oh,
and I'm like,
crying mess. That's not a position
again.
I want to be in.
Not selling it, right?
Not drawing me.
But I'm like,
well,
what is that about? The interview in the very last episode is between the comedian Duncan Trussell and his mother, who had breast cancer and passed away very shortly after the interview. But that's the way his podcast works, is they have these introspective conversations about, you know, different things. So it kind of opens your mind and makes you think and makes you experience things differently. But then on top of it, you've got this really strange cartoon on the television.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was really interesting, and I was, because the first thing I thought of was like, man, if I did drugs, this would be amazing. I'm like, James does drugs. I need to ask him if he's experienced this show
when
before.
I think drugs, I think James.
Who's the biggest drug addict I know?
Yeah.
James smokes the reefer.
Yeah. The reefer.
He's one of those reefer heads.
Right.
I know a show for him.
When you started to describe it, I was starting to think it was going to be like the Ricky Gervais show, you know, because you're talking about the podcast over the animation. And I mean, I thought the Ricky Gervais show was kind of brilliant because it was podcast stuff they'd already done.
Yeah.
And they just got animators to show you, to illustrate what they were talking about. But
right.
this is not like that. It's two completely different things happening.
The animation is completely over here while the conversation is over here. And
yeah, that's definitely not for me. I'll stick with my Star Trek Voyager that I've been watching the crap out of lately.
Yeah.
I did just yesterday watch that episode with The Rock in it. So
The Rock
Star Trek
is
Voyager?
Star Trek Voyager?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, that episode came up yesterday, so.
Is he a human? Does he play
yeah, and he plays a wrestler. Well, he's not a human. He's
I was going to say, isn't he like a...
He's an alien of some kind.
He's got forehead
he's got a
bumps.
forehead bump thing. So he's a Delta Quadrant alien, and he has to fight 7 of 9.
So is he like a warrior?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like a gladiator.
Okay.
Yep.
An intergalactic gladiator.
That's right. The Rock.
Our future king.
I invite both Al, you, and James to not check the chat right now because there's a big discussion about the newest episode of The Boys in there.
Oh, really?
I kind of scrolled up just to make sure.
Just to make sure you didn't check it out. Hey, you guys talking about it? I'm with you. Awesome. I just didn't want Al and James to be like, damn it, Hall Gaming.
Well,
I
at this point, it's how many episodes in? 5?
5 episodes in the second season.
Yeah. So, I mean, I saw season 1, but if we're 5 in, it's kind of on me at this point.
Right.
You know, but I appreciate the heads up on that.
If they're spoiling something in the 5th episode. If they spoil episode 1, then it's on you.
All right. Well, I
Touché.
had one more thing about streaming services I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is something that I just saw yesterday. We talked last week about the fact that Aqua Teen Hunger Force and a lot of Adult Swim shows are on HBO Max. And I was like, oh my God, there's a bunch of shows I have never seen. Well, according to a report I read yesterday, Reddit users actually found this. There's a couple episodes missing of Aqua Teen, Boondocks, and another show called where is it? It's not even on this. It's not even in this particular article. But there's one episode each of these particular shows that are missing, and it's because the episode that's missing of Aqua Teen is Shake Like Me, and the Boondocks one is called The Story of Jimmy Rebel. The Aqua Teen episode features one of its characters performing African American stereotypes.
Oh.
And the Boondocks episode sees a series regular perform with a famed racist country singer. And the interesting thing is that HBO Max is not the ones that made the decision to not have it on the streaming service. Adult Swim are the ones who, when they licensed it to HBO Max, decided to not give them those episodes.
You can have everything except these.
Exactly.
Pick everything but our most offensive episodes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because that's...
Don't look under our rug.
Yeah.
The Deadline article I've got up says that HBO Max has Blazing Saddles and Gone with the Wind, and they put something in front of it in the same way that I can't remember what streaming service
Disney Plus
had Disney Plus had the old cartoons that they would put something in front of it, being like, back in 1930 when we made this cartoon, this was not offensive. Now we understand it's offensive, but please go into this knowing that
please stop emailing us all your complaints. We understand this was bad to make in the past, but we didn't realize in the past because we were too dumb. Now we are smarter. We understand not to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's something.
Enjoy your
This
nostalgia.
still makes us money. Enjoy.
Yes.
Right. It's this isn't the first time it's happened. Like you said, it happened with Disney Plus when Scrubs and 30 Rock were on Hulu. There was some blackface episodes. They're like, yeah, that doesn't play real well now.
It's always an uncomfortable. Even when I see it on TV, I'm just like, ooh, why did you go down that road? That's not the road to go down.
We might have thought this was funny when we did it initially, but standards and practices now say, nah, it's not so funny.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing. I mean, I understand the argument of like, let the work stand on its merits and flaws from when it was created. But I also, understand a company being like, I just don't want to deal with it. Just let me pull this.
Yeah, it's a disclaimer. It's just a cover your ass move, really.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think I'm gonna have to go back and look. I think I might have one of the box sets that actually has that episode on it of Aqua Teen.
I was wondering, does it say what season?
It does not. I'll have to look that up.
Because I feel like within like the first 5 or 6, I think I have all those on DVD.
Yeah.
So that shows you how old
I remember there being like a Best Buy sale where they were $10 a piece or $5 a piece, and being
like every Black Friday.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll buy the 4 seasons of Aqua Teen I haven't caught up on yet. All right, well, I've got some comic book news to get to. I got a couple comics in front of me, and Al actually sent me a story earlier that the Los Angeles Comic Con has announced that they plan to actually have the convention. We've had this discussion before. We're going to have it again.
In other words,
oh no!
In other words, Al contributed to the show. Coming up next.